course.
And without further ado, we are into map number 1. It's Outcrop, Jordan in the red playing the Hindustanis, Liereyy in the blue playing the Gurjaras. So no surprise on the Gurjaras pick. I think Hindustanis the response. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, both top-tier camel sieves, probably the 2 best camel sieves we have in the current meta. However, when you mash them up against each other, it feels like you don't really want to be playing camels. You know, sometimes maybe you want to play archers and just kind of mix things up. We'll see. But, you know, if it's Hindustani versus a cav sieve, then obviously camels come out. But in this matchup, not so clear. However, both of these sieves have a ton more options than just the camels. Of course, this is Outcrop. There are a couple sheep on the top and bottom. Extremely important for the Gurjara player because you're going to put them in your, in your mill.
And look how forward Jordan came early to steal a couple of those cows away, right?
Look, he's prepared. Look at that foresight. They know about the Gurjara pick. We saw TaToH on it, and he's right away going to pick up those cows. Denying Liereyy those cows is absolutely massive. As you can see, he's already garrisoned the ones he has in his mill, bringing in that second boar now.
Yep, and doing some scouting out through the center of the map, but wasn't lucky enough to find any in the north as he was just up there with his scouts. So right now, Jordan getting the better of finding the herdables throughout the map. We'll find another. Ooh, just barely misses them.
Ooh, a couple tiles there.
Unfortunate, but he's scouting with this cow as well, so perhaps he finds them a little bit later on. Back to your point, though, about the differences in the civs. I think, obviously, the 2 unique units for these civs are quite special. More likely to see Hindustani's Ghulams than perhaps Gurjara's unique unit.
Yep.
But all that said, Ghulams particularly love to play into archers, and I'm not sure how often you're going to be playing into archers from Gurjaras.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Gurjaras, I mean, the Ghulam usually gets countered by heavy cav, but because we don't really have heavy cav for Gurjaras, maybe, you know, the Ghulam could be like that flexible unit, counters pretty much all infantry, counters all archers, and, you know, if Liereyy tries to get too creative with archers in the early game, maybe the Ghulam play could come out. It's definitely in the back pocket there, something you keep in mind. We see Loom now, it's going to be 19 pop for Jordan. I think Lierey's looking to click up at the same time as well. Sharp builds from these 2, man.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful to see exactly 500 food in the bank. Both of these players going to click up lockstep. 2 minutes on the clock till we get to feudal.
Yeah, and I think right now it's a lot about kind of setting up what you want to go for. Do you want to go towards the stable route, the archery range route? We haven't really seen too much aggression with, like, you know, Dark Age Militia in this tournament in general. I think I might have been the only one to really pull it off. However, you know, Meta Arms is an option. We'll see if they drop a barracks real quick. Doesn't look like it. It's probably just going to be feudal play.
Yeah, it's an interesting map because while you're very aware of where your opponent will be, right, straight down the middle, you have quite a bit of distance between you. So it puts the onus on you to really make something of a Dark Age push if you are going to go for it. But with these early up times from both players, I expect to see some scout play here early on. We don't even have many walls up just yet, and so it's going to kind of be a battle of control of your scouts while getting the walls up. Here's the barracks going down as we speak.
And there's actually a skill on maps like this of how well you can set up your base that you can be fully walled without committing too many, you know, villages to wall early on. You got to position your buildings in the right spot. As you can see, Jordan kind of going towards this town center. He's not going to full wall his base. He's just going to keep himself as safe as possible, as quick as possible. Gurjaras.
What an interesting statistic, though. Gurjaras 5-1 on Outcrop, so obviously a stellar civ. Hindustani's 4-0, but as we see here, they've never faced off against each other. So in that head-to-head, we're going to get our first stat from there. But 2 dominant civs on this map. Somebody's got to lose.
It's worth mentioning as well to those watching, Hindustanis were just nerfed on the last patch, so they're slightly weaker than you might be expecting or than they were in the last couple months. We see a range opening from Liereyy here.
Yeah, he makes me a liar on a 19-pop click-up, but this is exactly what we talked about with Liereyy. He is so phenomenal on such low eco, getting those numbers out, and I think to a degree this is going to catch Jordan off guard if he hasn't scouted it just yet.
You know, I think most players... Oh! Jordan denying those cows. Yeah, I mean, not the biggest of deals at this point, but it's always nice. We take any win you can get. He actually has that cow now. Where are you going with that one, my man?
Love it. Escort it out. Oh, okay. It goes back.
I would go back for that
I mean, that's more a mental win than anything.
Yep.
You're just stealing cows away from the Gurjaras, without a doubt. But let's see here. We've got the first archer out onto the field, swapping over to skirms because he was late onto his gold production. So going to get a skirm out onto the field.
Nice spear from Jordan there. Kind of respecting the camel. Doesn't want to lose the Vill walling. You just get 1 spear out. You're also expecting scouts. Has Jordan scouted the archery range? I don't think so.
I don't think so because his scout came in through the north there. But we can check to make sure in just a moment.
Ooh,
yeah, so it doesn't look like he has. Doesn't know what's coming in that regard. All that said, already completed the walls on the southern part of the map, and so really just has to focus on getting those northern walls complete. It's Liereyy who's far more open, and against a scout opening from Jordan, that's where you could come at some serious risk of damage.
I'm really not sure why you'd make a skirmisher if you're Liereyy here. It seems like a weird choice. Maybe you didn't have the gold for an archer.
Because when the scout came in to steal the cow,
he pulled off
gold.
Yeah.
So he literally was just like 10 gold shy.
That's
and so
crazy.
To keep the production queue going, he queued up a skirm. But you're right, it is a little curious, to say the least.
It's those little things that happen. You don't even think about it until you see the skirm on the field, you know? Ooh, running through the TC a little bit risky there. Jordan, look at that. So little walls on Jordan, but he's fully walled. Like that's literally a skill. It's very hard to do this. We take it for granted very often here, but Jordan's already fully walled. In theory, I mean, there's a gap near his town center, but that's too dangerous to go through. So he's feeling pretty good. He's got the scouts to control the map as well now.
Yep, he'll use the scout on the inside of Jordan's walls here to start doing some damage, but Jordan already going to prep some house walls behind, bring that spear over to at least remove the camel scout from his base. Doesn't look like he found too much damage over on Lierey's side of the map, and bringing his scouts back perhaps, or just looping them around the north here to look for a different point of entry. Great
point here. I think you probably want to use them for damage as much as possible here. But then when there's no damage to be done, then you can go back with them. That's kind of like the advantage of the mobility. And it looks like Liereyy, he might be in trouble here.
Yep, Jordan finds an opening. A quick response from Liereyy, though.
Crazy reaction.
And so he will be able to pull those Vills back immediately, but Jordan getting in front and blocking means one of these Vills is going down, all before the spear can come in defense. So one quick Vill and out. Liereyy going to go ahead and spam up those walls, though, make sure he's protected.
And that's big, right? Like, Jordan didn't take any damage. He just forced to add a couple extra walls. But Jordan now find a Vill. It might
that's
find
open.
more.
That's open. Oh, my goodness. He finds another Vill. Will Liereyy be able to get the quick wall down? Spear is on its way over. Jordan is going to commit for it. Gets it. Boom. Only a couple hits as well. All three scouts still alive. And he egresses from the base. Yeah,
we take those. We're out. We go back to defend. The camel scout's down from Liereyy as well. He tried to micro that, I think, around just to keep the camel scout, to be annoying in Jordan's base, but kind of caught up to him in the end. Liereyy still not fully walled, has to send one more Vill to finish that off. But listen, the transition to Castlage now looking smoother for Jordan.
Very much so, yeah. 200 food lead for him with more on food. Liereyy now moving forward with some archers. Doesn't yet have fletching, so they're not going to be as potent as maybe he would want them to be if they do manage to find their way onto a villager or two. But these walls for Jordan are phenomenal. Funneling your opponent into the TC, and he's gotten them built with enough distance that he's going to have an early warning system no matter where these ranged units try and break in from.
And look at that, even reinforcing his walls, double layer with the house, extra layers of palisade, playing extremely cautious. And this is what, this is the tournament play. This is what gets rewarded in tournaments when you take so little risks. You know exactly where your opponent can attack you, where you're vulnerable, and you make sure that you've got all your bases covered. And look at that, Jordan's going to hit a fast castle time, and he's still active with the scouts.
Yeah, just like that. 13.5-minute click up to castle. Liereyy still 300 food away, so not terribly far behind. More archers in the queue. Jordan's going to go ahead and stop production for the moment.
And Castlage comes in for Jordan. Now, the big question is here, what do you go for in the Castlage? You got a couple options. You could throw down a second stable. You can go for some camels if you're Hindustani. You don't have access to knights, of course, which would be a natural option for a lot of civilizations. Of course, not on the table here. You could also go for some range units, but it looks like he made one skirm, kept him in the range.
I love that move.
Yeah,
such a classic move. Keep it garrisoned. When that flag's on the archery range, your opponent has to respect it. He's also got one unit garrisoned into his stable as well. So where am I going? Am I going to go multiple scouts? Am I sticking in feudal age? Am I going heavy light cav upgrade in castle to try and catch you off guard? Liereyy doesn't know, and he clicks up just now a minute behind Jordan. There's also the possibility too, although his wood count's pretty low right now, of just trying to look to get to the north or the south to drop an early TC and grab control of some of those extra resources.
Yeah, we see Horse Collar coming in for Liereyy, something that Jordan already picked up. So even the economy is looking slightly better for Jordan. Castlage is a minute and a half or so later for Liereyy. Now the big question on Outcrop here, do you try to expand right away to the outside, or do you put a little bit more pressure, go for like a little bit heavier into the middle? You always have to ask yourself that question, and to be honest, it's not clear to me.
Yeah, still producing scouts.
Okay.
And like armor upgrade, on as well for the cavalry. So it tells me that he is going to go for light cav. Again, I don't really know what that buys you other than more map control, maybe to get those TCs down. Maybe that's the whole reason, is I want an early injection of power with a light cav click in order. Oh my God, that's hard to say.
Bit of a tongue twister,
light cav click, and then get out to the to one side. He is going to drop a TC, but he's keeping it at home for extra safety.
Yeah, kind of taking his time with that one. He does go for the light cav click.
Hey.
Give it a shot myself.
You are a pro caster, bro.
No, I gotta have that backup career, nice and solid, just in case the game.
Look at this, the heist, the cow heist.
Oh my God, that's for earlier.
He missed him. Go, Liereyy, go. There's
spear.
4 cows up there for the taking.
Spear. Oh, he's gonna
hero
go
spear.
For it. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
So much food.
So the thing is here, Liereyy, he's slower to castle, but he's got the bigger army. So the question is, does he stay? Does he wait to be right outside of Jordan's walls when the castage kicks in? Or does he back up and play it safe? It looks like he's hovering real close. Crossbow Bodkin coming in.
Boom.
Yep.
All right, now we're looking for maybe Villese to be escorted forward and a Siege Workshop dropped. I was saying earlier, I think Leary's the best 1 TC player in the world. And maybe he could prove just that in this game if he opts into it.
Now, Jordan is going for 3 town centers real quick. And, of course, as you mentioned earlier, he decided to stay on his main land. Now, the pros and cons of this are, you have less gold available. However, you're getting safe town centers. And, you're putting them in the best position on the map, as safe as possible. So he'll have more bills, but less gold long term.
Yeah, it's a lot of safety now for risk later.
Exactly.
Because at some point, you are going to have to move outside your walls. And 2 villagers do get sniped because of the crossbow bodkin click for Liereyy. So he's going to feel good about that, being the second one to the Castle Age and knowing that his opponent already has TCs up. Dropped one at home as well. So on to 2 TCs is Liereyy at this point.
But you notice he delayed that second one.
Yeah, just by a bit.
Exactly. People don't even realize that. He delayed it by 30 seconds. He prioritized his army and his upgrades, and then only after he got the initial timing, he added the town center. He's close to breaking in here.
Yeah, and just like that, all this safety that we're talking about you've gained for yourself by putting your TCs at home, if he can break through the walls and skate through, it's all for naught. Light cap coming in, though.
Oh, big engagement
with 2 armor
here.
upgrades. Looking to get some snipes, but it's not enough, it looks like, from a numbers perspective, as Leary's going to micro it down. He's going to have to walk through TC fire here, but only 1 more camel to deal with, a second one coming in just now. Jordan's in a tough spot, pushed off of about 5 to 6 farms.
Jordan does not look happy about that. He has a really, really big frown on the face as well. He actually let the crossbows into his base here. This is not what you want to be in, Liereyy. Crossbows inside your base. It's not looking good. However, he doesn't have the vill lead, and he does have the 3 town centers to protect his base.
Yeah, look to go for the trap as well with that villager, but gets pushed away by a lone crossbow in defense. But yeah, exactly. This is a dangerous number of crossbows for Liereyy to be in your eco with, 10. So it's about massing up a few cavalry units there. It's going to be more light cav, it looks like.
Let me tell you, I'm getting second-hand frustration. Look at Liereyy. He's sitting on the farms. He doesn't want to risk going in too deep. He's sitting on the farms. He's waiting for his reinforcements. It's so hard to play against this. He makes 0 mistakes with his military.
And what a natural transition for him, too. I've seen your camels. I've seen your light cav. Boom, just in time, 4 calves or 4 camels forward to deal with any of that. And now, with that, he has permission to go deeper into the base.
Exactly. He waited for those camels. The camels came in, and now he's walking in deeper, as you said. And, now he's got the vill lead.
Look at that. Yeah, 3, 4 more snipes. The eco KD now 2 to 7 in favor of Liereyy, and he still has control over half of Jordan's base. And with that map control, up to the north, 3rd TC dropped for Liereyy, and that vill lead, he's going to stabilize in TC numbers, and with this forward pressure, could even expand the vill lead.
Yeah, exactly. He could get even further ahead. And notice, when Liereyy goes for the outside town center, it's not a risk, because he's got the map control. He's got the aggression. This map is so interesting. There's so many layers to it here. And now we see the response from Jordan. He needs that Siege Workshop. He brings the Scorpion. Maybe it's a little too late, though. The crossbow's already got so much value.
Yeah, going to be very tough. And you see breaking the walls over here, giving himself another point of entry so that the spear and more crossbows can come in reinforcements. Good damage, though, from this Scorpion as the crossbows are relatively grouped up, but just in time. He's broken through the walls, and he has a point of exit from the base. Wow, beautiful play out of Liereyy.
Insane. Just runs away. I mean, a lot of people just trade off those crossbows, but Liereyy wants to save them for another fight. He might even go back and heal them up if he wants to get, a monastery down or something. He's picking up handcart, though, compared to Jordan not having wheelbarrow. So, Lierey's economy, even though he didn't add the TCs right away, is actually in much better shape than Jordan right now.
Military lead and eco lead is a fantastic position to find yourself in. Now, all of that said, taking a look at the resources to see how much is on food. Both players actually fairly matched in farm counts as well. So as per usual, Lierey's not going to be too far behind in that eventual click up to the Imperial Age, and with handcart may even beat Jordan there.
Yeah, exactly. You'd expect Jordan to be faster because he did, prioritize his economy, but the pressure pays off, man. And when it pays off, it's big. Scorpion is going to defend Jordan against any future battles, but look at that. Liereyy just sniped the farm and is out. That's 60 wood. That's 60. He takes that,
Oh yeah, that's 60 wood and frustration. Yeah. Right. Again, with every single one of those little micro advantages that you pull, you've just also gotten into your opponent's head a little bit. Trying to think of the answers here for Jordan at this point, when you've already seen your opponent on camel crossbow composition. Like, how do you even play into that?
There's actually not a single composition Jordan can go for that's like fluid to micro. He needs to mix in some siege for the crossbows. You can't really go skirmishers. That's a big transition. If you wanted skirmishers, he had to already have been making them since Feudal Age. It's going to be hard. I think the best thing might be to just overpower the crossbows, knowing that Liereyy can't get Arbalest, and overpower him with camels maybe, throw in some light cav. That could be the approach, but Lierey's just going to be stocking up camel numbers from now on.
Yeah, Bowsaw and Wheelbarrow in for Jordan, so trying to catch up in those eco upgrades. Still behind, though, with the handcart click.
Ooh, now we see the expansion on the side. A bit risky, though.
Only 3 villagers, and yes, those crossbows. Oh, this is a scary moment.
Does Liereyy check?
Does he have the sixth sense? I don't know. He might actually think that I've kept him penned in here this whole time. And does he see this hole? Because if he sees the hole, which he may have just seen, he knows.
No
that
way.
Was all he needed to know.
That's crazy.
Come on.
No.
Don't tell me you didn't. No, I thought he was so big brain.
Dude,
I thought he was so big brain.
It looked like he saw the hole and he ran right away.
I was convinced that was that moment. Of course, there is action happening everywhere on the map. So having to micro away from these massive camel numbers from Jordan, and Jordan with the better upgrades on the camels does mean he needs to respect that fight. Also, look at that, Jordan expanding to the north as well, so really choosing to go wide at this point. He says, I'm probably not going to beat you straight up right here, right now in Castle Age. Let's go wide, let's get to Imp. Let's make sure we have the better eco setup for later.
Yeah, you just got to, spread out, make it hard for your opponent to keep you in one spot and keep harassing you. The longer this cast age goes, the better for Jordan. Because he's taking so much damage early on, he needs to have a longer cast age here. You can't really rush to Imperial Age because then your opponent just has way too much army. So staying in cast age, building up your army, clearing up your opponent, and maybe gaining back the map control, even if it's temporary, it might actually be the only way you're getting back in the game here. But Lierey's playing safe. He's run all the way back with his army. He's getting a castle, and he's up, up to Imperial Age.
Yep, gotta love it. This is ringing some bells, though, from the earlier Outcrop game, where the Gujaras player prioritized only one side of the map, which gave their opponent full permission to attack in just that singular point.
Yep.
Right? So you need to be careful not to pigeonhole yourself into this is, my do or die kind of spot on the map. All that said, look at that. Imperial Age click already.
Yeah, Imperial 29 minutes click.
Is just incredible.
It's crazy.
It's just incredible.
Very little excess resources, guys. We talk about it all the time. Spending your resources is super important. Staying efficient, and Lierey's one of the best in the world at doing just that. Now listen, Jordan, he's far from Imperial Age. Maybe you just go for the map control, go for the big raids here, because Liereyy invested 1,800 resources into something that doesn't pay back unless you get to Imperial Age.
That's a very good point.
It's 3 minutes, so. And what can Jordan do here is the question.
See, he's looking for something with the light cav on the bottom side of the map. A nice engagement there for Jordan as Liereyy just kind of runs the camels through his opponent's camels. No losses, but some health.
Yep.
Will go to the wayside. Jordan, the question is, has he recognized the imp click? Maybe you can speak to this as a pro player. Like, how much do you feel that 1,800 resource investment of your opponent?
Yeah, great question. I mean, it varies from point to point. I think in this particular case, though, he's seen Liereyy in heavy army, and the score hasn't really shifted. Because when you invest into Imperial Age, the score usually shifts, it drops.
Yeah.
But here, it still looks like it's kind of close, and you can't really put, did he drop or not? So I think that Jordan doesn't know, to be honest. But we'll see. He is messing up a lot of units, and I think when Liereyy hits Imp, he's going to pull the trigger, unless he goes earlier.
Yeah, crossbows getting caught out in the middle of the map. Jordan just completing iron casting as well in a moment. Means that he's matched in the upgrades camel for camel and much bigger numbers. This is a fantastic clear up for him in the middle.
Oh my god, perfect. I mean, I honestly feel like that's a mistake from Liereyy. You're up to Imperial Age. Just it's a minute. You can just wait it out. But Jordan capitalized right there. He punished that mistake. And now Jordan's on both sides, and as you said, Lierey's only on top. He's got the castle, but nothing else.
Exactly, exactly. So he's going to hit Imperial Age, but with only 19 military in his pocket. And a lot of that is really difficult to do damage with, because I feel like the crossbows were maybe your answer to doing some early damage in the Imperial Age. At this point, it's going to be a heavy camel click, conscription, and town watch just for a little bit more vision.
Yeah, maybe you just take your time if you're Liereyy here. You lost those crossbows. It sounds dumb, like crossbows at this stage of the game, but there's no knights. Like, crossbows are really good here. And now that we lost them, we don't really have a way to like put pressure, do damage, or like camp some trebs. So we have to take our time here. But
Jordan's in. The house wall failed. Right there.
Looks like
close. He got palisades up. He got palisades up just in time. Well done, Liereyy.
But the other side.
Sack a couple vills. Oh, yeah, house going down on the other side. Really get there in time. He does. Fantastic responses out of Liereyy to save his base. Castle will go up in defense. It's going to protect a lot of his farming eco.
And Jordan's up to Imp. Look at that. He used the castle. The perfect window. He bought himself some time, and now he's up to Imp. Really well done from Jordan here.
Dead even in Vills. A small military lead for Jordan, but with the map control, at the very least, he's bought himself a full minute, even if Liereyy were to start pushing back right now.
Yep, exactly. Oh, and Jordan, he's got the pop lead.
Rotating pressure around. This is fantastic. Using that mobility to force Liereyy to respond. Lierey's the one with the heavy camel click, and yet he's not going to get much done with
it. Those light calf, though. I don't want to see that again. The light calf to camels, man. Ooh. Oh, that's brutal. Oh, man, they're massacring my boys. I love the light calf, but this is not pretty.
Yeah, he does clock the fact that this wall is now open, because that used to be a wood line, right? So perhaps if Liereyy doesn't take the time to wall that back up, there is possibilities for raids. Speaking of raids, 2 light cav into the northern side of the map. We'll get a few Vill picks.
Picking up some farms? Gotta love to see it, okay.
That's one of the most frustrating things in all of Age of Empires is you drop like 8 farms and somebody walks up and just 2 taps a few of them.
It's one hit, 60 wood down. Like, give me back to the wood, bro.
What the hell, dude?
Yeah.
How can you kill something that's not there?
I swear, it's a minute to imp, and it looks like it's going to be camels for both players. Liereyy has some chakram throwers. Are you committing to those guys now?
I'm not sure. And at the same time, I've got to call into question this castle placement from Jordan.
On the bottom,
Yeah, why are you placing it on the bottom? I mean, unless you're really, really concerned that an imp push is coming on the north already, right? Like, I'll be too far behind in treb numbers, and therefore I'm willing to sack the top. But again, I go back to that earlier Outcrop match that we had, and if your opponent has only taken one side, I feel like that's full permission to pressure that side. I would have perhaps liked the castle up here. Maybe with these army numbers, he just didn't feel safe enough to get it up.
I mean, you know what I think? I think he thinks he's further behind than he actually is. Because he's got a lot of camels, but he just, he feels like Liereyy has more. I personally think, I agree, I think he could have made the castle a bit higher up. Obviously, you don't have like the treb number that your opponent could have, but your army should be stronger here if you are Jordan. Conscription coming in, heavy camel. Remember, Hindustani do get Imperial camel. That could come in pretty clutch if it's a camel war.
The one thing I will say is because of that castle placement, this game just became incredibly volatile, incredibly fast, right? Because as soon as one of those castles falls on either side, it becomes a massive snowball that rolls forward into your base with whatever remaining military is there.
Yeah, it looks like Liereyy committed to the top. Jordan's committing more to the bottom. He does have that TC on top as well, but it's quite clear right now he's not committing anything more to that. It's just he'll take whatever gold is there, but he's not building his economy there. He's giving that side to Liereyy, and as you said, completely volatile. Whoever loses their side first is out of gold, out of stone. It's a pretty big deal. Silver crown for Hindustani coming through. Trying to remember what that is. I should know this.
You should know this. You're the pro player.
Do you know this?
I don't know this.
Yeah, but you have,
I don't have a good excuse either, to be honest.
Yeah,
because that's what I'm supposed to be here for.
You're not expected for it.
Right. Somebody will come over and whisper it to us.
100%. Yeah. I'm not sure what that is.
All that said, okay, if I put you into Jordan's position, are you trying to defend your top side, or are you trying to just hard push the bottom side and give up the top? Like you want to take the base race?
I think you give up the top for now because you're waiting for your upgrade, and then after that, it just depends on if you do find that winning fight. It's going to be interesting because the Chakram's in heavy camel versus Imperial camel. So if you win the fight, you defend the top. If you're going to lose the fight, the top's gone, and that's completely normal,
Yeah, it also, with that Imp camel upgrade coming in, calls into question how slow Lierey's playing this at this point. I'm glad he's finally coming forward with a castle, got the treb onto the TC, but you'll get out teched in the camel v camel battle, right?
Yeah.
And so he's definitely playing maybe a little too conservatively than he should.
We're now seeing crop rotation from Liereyy here. You know, setting up the late game,
strapping in for a long one.
You can't fault him for that.
Yeah,
you know?
if there's no better indicator that we're going late on this one.
Oh,
it's
big
crop
engagement
rotation. We have 60+ camels coming in, imp camels looking to do damage against heavy camels. Is it going to be enough to eat through all of that? Liereyy trying to micro back, but it does look like Jordan's got the numbers here.
Oh, he has got the shackle throwers. The surround is there, but the shackle throwers are doing pass-through damage here. What is it? That shackle thrower is absolutely melting the camels. The Gujar heavy camel is there as well, but Jordan's reinforcing. That was a great fight for Liereyy. I didn't expect it to be that good of a fight,
Went
though.
better than I expected. Yep. Production buildings are closer for Jordan, though, so as we elongate this fight, we are going to start to see those numbers do work for him. Lierey's got to be careful with those chakram throwers, continue to micro them back, because at this point, they're left without any defenses or meat shield.
Oh my god, look at those shots, bro.
Dude. These units are just so nuts and mass.
Why are they shooting so fast? Look at that.
Yeah, elite chakram throwers, 28 he has massed up right here in the middle, or 21 currently selected. Just doing work on these imp camels, and at this point, look at Jordan's resources completely strapped.
He's out.
He threw the bank at Liereyy there, and Liereyy held it still with 1,300 food and 350 gold in the bank. Lierey's feeling good about where he's at.
And now, like, Gujaras are in their perfect composition here. He's got camels, he's got a melee unit behind a range unit, or in front of a range unit, I should say, my bad. And it's just like the perfect composition to have. Whereas Jordan, he's just on one unit.
Yeah, he's playing a single unit.
Yeah.
Yes, he's got 8 stables producing, so he can keep this up for a bit just by virtue of the number of farmers and gold miners that he has, but it's not sustainable in the long term, and it's definitely not a winning play. He's going to have to find time to tech into something else.
And you know, he could go for hand cannons. Hindustani do get 9-range hand cannon. He is far from that, though. He needs a university, he needs chemistry, long upgrade, then he needs, you know, the unique tech, and then obviously making the hand cannon. So we're a long way from there, but that might be something he has to do eventually here.
Yeah, villagers being found in the north means that Jordan's completely pushed out of that section of the map, and Lierey's had the time rather to drop a second castle, so he's feeling very comfortable with his position there. I say that, Jordan's mirroring him on the bottom side of the map, dropping a second castle as well. So for as good as we talked about that engagement was for Liereyy, fantastic quick walls as he's diverting the camels back towards the castle fire. Look at this, does he get it down? What
Lierey's crazy!
Woo!
Oh, what a play from Liereyy there. I mean, listen, Jordan's going to run back. It's not the end of the world. And actually, Jordan, not as flashy, but maybe more effective here.
Yeah, in with some imp camels. He's going to get some villager snipes. We're dead even in villagers right now. Only 10 is the difference in the military counts. Both players near pop cap at this point. And that's what I was going to say, that earlier engagement was so good for Liereyy, but by no means was it a winning fight, you know, in terms of game ending.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, both players still 190 pop. They've got tons of gold. Remember, this map, dude, there's a ton of gold and stone. So as long as you have one of those sides, he's in.
Imp camels are in.
Didn't you talked about this earlier. If Liereyy doesn't re-wall, he's going to get raided.
Phenomenal raiding unit. Typically, we don't talk about camels being an amazing raiding unit, but these imp camels can definitely do just that.
They're insane.
And it's going to make it difficult for Liereyy to deal with, because your best unit to chase down imp camels is your heavy camels.
Which is not a strong.
Which is already a losing fight.
Exactly.
So, you see here, he's losing vills, but pulling them back to TCs. The Eco's going to idle. His saving grace here is that he's floating 2.3k food. So even though it's the farmers that are being targeted, he doesn't lose too many. Again, another engagement here for Jordan, trying to get in with those Imperial camels, but you just cannot run directly into those chakram throwers. They absolutely decimate you.
And they're doing a ton of damage to like 10, 12 camels per volley, by the way. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's a little concerning to me that Jordan isn't teching it to something else. We talked about the hand cannons. It's a long transition, but this is going to be a long game. This is far from over. You need to invest into that transition unless you're sure that Hindustani camel is enough, the Imperial camel. I'm just not quite sure it is.
No, I'm not convinced it is. As long in the case where you feel like you have to actually beat Lierey's force. If your strategy is this, what we're seeing right now, which is just raid you to death, right? Bring your vill numbers. Lierey's barely over 100 vills at this point, so maybe I can raid you to death, and then fine. The camels is going to be enough, but I share the concern that you have. You've got to find some time to tech into something else, but he's got 70 camels on the field with 13 in the queue. Fletching click.
Ooh, fletching ballistics. Is it going to be skirm? You really don't want hand cannon? I guess skirm is fine. Nothing wrong with skirm. I mean, they don't get the bonus damage versus Chakrams, but because it's an infantry, but Skirms do. I mean, you know, Chakram's pretty squishy. Skirms should do enough damage. Yeah. It could be something. It could be Cav Archers though. I mean, we'll see what he comes up with.
We'll have to see. Another castle goes up for Liereyy just in time in the north when Imp Camels come in. More Camels looking to do damage to these Chakram throwers. We'll get a couple picks, but finding a great position for those Chakrams.
Yeah, run
Jordan
back.
has to retreat.
Yeah. A lot of raids though. Yo, Jordan's playing his
83
game.
villagers.
83
vills for Liereyy. 80 now. What phenomenal rating. Hey, man, Jordan's doing everything he can to prove us that all you need is Imp Camels to win a game.
Dude, they're going to win the fights as long as you pick the right fights. And versus villagers are great. You just raid, and nothing wrong with that.
I'm not going to lie. He's got Bodkin coming in now. We're going to see him, like, click Elite Skirmisher and then win before he produces a single one.
He's going to make the transition just to prove he can and then not need it. It's crazy. I mean, Liereyy has a score lead, but guys, late game score lead is almost irrelevant. It's mainly due to, like, you know, how many units you've killed, but it's not indicative of the actual situation. I think Jordan's in the lead. It's not by a lot, but I think he's in the lead.
Yeah, we haven't seen Liereyy make it to the other half of the map in quite some time at this point. I'll also point out there's a couple of Trebs out onto the map for Jordan. I have to imagine those are pushing in from the south here soon enough to open more space.
But oh my
god! How many went down? That was 10 camels that just went down in an instant. One volley.
Crazy. Big respect to Liereyy for bringing out this unit, by the way. It was recently nerfed, so everyone kind of, you know, went away from it. Yeah, disregarded it. And then he just pulls it out in a tournament game. Gotta love to see it.
These are
big
great finds here.
Okay.
These are great finds. But again, only 66 vills. So how long can he sustain forces like this out onto the map as Jordan comes over with some more camels to try and clean this raid up under the protection of that castle? Means he will clean this up.
I just realized, by the way, I think Jordan got Bracer, Bodkin just for his castles, actually. Okay. Just to make his castle stronger.
And ballistics, right?
Yeah, so
exactly. So you can actually hit those units with pretty serious mobility. Liereyy in full reboom mode, 12 vills in the queue, trying to get back up into triple digits. But with a 50 vill deficit, he's basically relying on his food count. He's empty on gold. He's really pushed to his limit right here.
You know, the crazy thing is, there's a lot of gold on Outcrop, but what if it starts running out for Jordan? You know, that's something to think about. He does have a lot of. I don't know how much gold's got left, but yeah, he's down to his last like 4 piles.
4, 5, 5. I mean, obviously those are a little bit extended, so you have to be careful in trying to pick them up. But I would say he still has.
Yeah, he still has a decent amount here.
10 minutes worth of
this.
Of this.
Yeah.
And that's a scary thing to have to come up against. Again, the man's barely ever dropped below 50 camels. And 2 Trebs coming forward on a hill to put pressure into this castle. Liereyy is going to really struggle to deny this or push this back. He does clear up what's remaining on the top side.
You know what
and
I love
about rotating his chakrams down in defense. You
know what I love about this? Jordan tested out the first fight. That first fight that he got shredded by the chakrams, never again did he let Liereyy fight in one spot.
That's a good point.
The adaptation he made on the fly has to be recognized here.
Yeah, recognized every time he was being pulled into a choke. Said, okay, I'll back out. I'll look for a fight somewhere else. The chakrams are coming in, though, and they'll make quick work of the Trebs.
Yeah, that's down.
Yeah. Trebs are going down. He does have villagers repairing the castle, so that will remain up. And he tucks them right in here alongside his buildings. Means Jordan has to retreat once again.
Yeah, you just can't fight those. You know, Jordan is just going to continue raiding. He's taking it to Hussar as well. Now, the thing about Hussar here is that it's not going to be great against the camels, but it might be decent against the chakrams, and it might actually be pretty good against some of the vills as well, like just as a raiding unit. So it's not a bad thing to mix in, you know, conserve a little bit of gold. It's not going to be as strong as the camel, of course, but, you know, it's in there.
Yeah, Liereyy with a similar play, only on light cav at this point. We saw him finally getting a couple light cav back into Jordan's eco to look to do damage. The eco KD, though, at this point, 116 for Jordan to 39 for Liereyy. I'm impressed that Liereyy has gotten himself back up to 95 villagers, in all honesty.
Yeah, while everything was going on, you know, he's slowly rebooming. Well done to him there. And, you know, going towards that super, super late game here as well, I'm just not sure cavalry alone is going to cut it for Jordan. No. The raiding will slow down as the game goes on. So I just feel like you might need to start transitioning to something else. I will bring that up again.
Yeah, no, he has to tech into something ranged because Liereyy is playing chakrams like he plays Arbalest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're shorter range, but this guy barely loses any numbers, right?
Yeah.
And so it doesn't really matter that he's low on gold. If he's not dropping the numbers, this guy will micro you to death any day of the week. You have to find an answer to those chakrams specifically.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, you might be suggesting Onager here if you're a viewer, but the problem with Onager is Lierey's micro. Like that's just the problem, right? Like Onagers are great against this unit, but when the guy is Liereyy, you know, he'll split up his units, he'll send some camels, he'll snipe the Onagers. They're not going to be as effective as you think they are. And you might need to, you know, pick something else to counter those.
Yeah, again, either hand cannons or elite skirms, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have Bracer in, so at this point, you're not terribly far away from an elite skirm.
Exactly,
Elite skirm tech, you get maybe 20-ish elite skirms out.
I think they one-shot.
And behind your imp camels, as long as you have the mass to one-shot,
exactly.
You just micro while your camels tank, and you're in a decent spot. I think if you have the food and the gold, great, you go for hand cannons. They're a more potent unit for sure. But either is an option. A little concerned that he hasn't gone for it just yet. He's really locking himself into this singular composition, and we see Lierey's bought himself all this breathing room back. Look at it. We're in a stalemate in the middle of the map. We're back over 100 villas. 110 now, and the military lead for Liereyy.
Yeah, it's 200 pop a piece now. Liereyy, his army, it's almost like they move as a unit here. The chakrams are moving, the camels are right behind them. And Jordan, he's looking for that one engagement, but I don't know if he's going to find it here. Ooh, chemistry click.
Hey, let's go.
Maybe
58
cannon?
minutes in.
Yep, never too late, bro.
And we get the click. Hussars, though, into the back of his base. Jordan's going to have to respond to that to make sure that he doesn't lose too many vills. Retreating as well with these imp camels. Wants to buy himself a little time or maybe a better fight positioning.
Yeah, Jordan's going to have to clear those raids and then re-wall probably. He's not going to want to... This is already the longest Outcrop game. Previous longest was 49.59, so I had to read that real quick there.
I love it.
Strap in, guys. Liereyy got Quapotation. This could be a banger.
He knew.
Yeah,
man, he knew.
It's going late, man.
A long time ago.
It's just getting started.
My goodness.
But yeah, Jordan has to clear up these raids and then probably re-wall, you know, protect himself for future raids. Lierey's on the hunt here.
Yeah, pop cap now for both players. I cannot believe we're back to pop cap for both players. We've got 20, 30 idle villagers here for Jordan in his base while he cleans up that raid. Losing this monastery and a couple relics pop out. So that'll be nice for Liereyy to know that he's got 4 relics pumping away in terms of gold while he's reduced Jordan down to 0.
Oh, that's something we haven't talked about.
Nice little snipe.
Yeah, and it is 4 relics to 1, now 0. I mean, that's not bad. You know, long term here, the 4 relics will be nice. Obviously, when Jordan's mining away at those gold with like 40 miners, the relics don't really play that big of a role. Castle in his base now defending future raids, but the relics will play a big role once that gold will run out, and it's looking like quite soon at this place.
I'm still looking for archery ranges.
Yeah.
I'm looking for archery ranges for Jordan as Liereyy now finally feels like he's got permission to move forward, pressure these castles in the south for Jordan. 1 Treb working away with a hill bonus. And Jordan has 2 Trebs in defense. And he's got 300 stone and plenty of villagers to repair. So this castle's not going down anytime soon.
Yeah. And the question is, though, if you're Jordan, how long do you want to hang on to this position? Because, you know, you have the gold there, so you kind of have to, but then Lierey's fighting you from the top of the hill. It's really tricky. Hard call to make here, but the Treb's absolutely getting melted there, yep.
That's a really tough one to stomach. And to your question, I feel like you have to.
Yeah.
Because this is your remaining gold. We bring back in that relic conversation. Maybe if I was 4 relics to 0, I'd be more willing to give this up.
Yep.
But this is my lifeline here. You've seen how hard it is for me to close the game with Imp Camel.
Yeah.
And now if you remove my gold, I'm in a tough spot.
Yeah.
So once again, calling back to that need for range here from Jordan, and still has yet to jump into it, even after the chemistry click.
Yeah, he's sending some Hussars to raid again, but, you know, Lierey's reacting pretty nicely to those raids. He's got castles spread out as well now. Oh, big shift from Jordan, though. He realizes he can't hold the right side, even though he loves to, you know, he would love to do that. He just can't. Oh, but look at that. Liereyy dives in.
Yeah, as soon as he sees those 60 camels on the north, Liereyy dives in. He's going to make sure that those villas are garrisoned. Can't repair the castle. Castle will go down soon.
You know what's crazy?
He could kill this with just camels.
True, but Liereyy has murder holes. He got it 20 minutes ago. It's insane. It's insane. He got murder
Jordan
holes.
Realizes, look at that. Jordan realizes he's losing
crazy.
A camel per volley.
Yeah.
And so it's not worth the investment for him, particularly when he might be losing all of his gold income on the other side of the map. So he decides to retreat. Liereyy brings his reinforcements over, knowing that his Treb is safe on the opposite side of the map. He gets the castle down, immediately places another castle inside the ring of the lower half of the map. Big engagement here for Jordan. It's starting to feel like last-ditch efforts.
Wow, Liereyy, 200 pop, just pummeling through Jordan's army, and he's just terrorizing with those chakrams. No matter where the chakrams are, Jordan can't be there. Like, you just can't fight those guys. They're crazy.
Yeah, as long as they've got a meat shield, and they've always had just that, or a nice little crevice to fit themselves into, and Jordan can't take those fights.
Jordan's out of gold.
30 camels in the queue, 60 on the field. Ooh. I want to see the camel numbers at the end of the game. Like, oh my God, man.
So
it's going to be incredible statistics at the end of the game. Here we go. Big move by Jordan, though, to come in and pick up the trebs. He's going to completely stop Lierey's push in the south as a result, and may even commit to taking this castle out with just the camels themselves.
There's so many camels. I don't think I've ever seen this many camels on the field. This is 75 camels on one screen here. This is crazy. And Liereyy, his arm is less mobile. He's going to have to move over to try to defend this. Does Jordan commit here? I mean, he's out of gold. He has to fight.
Both players are out of gold at this point.
True.
In fact, and so it really is about what you do with the numbers that you have on the field at this moment.
Liereyy selling 100 food for 14 gold. Not a good rate, but it's what he's got to do here. He's on double gold comp. It's tough to say, but it looks like Liereyy holds this one.
Saves the castle, which means he gets to hop onto this this gold right here. So a few more villagers onto gold for Liereyy means we're back in a bit of a stalemate position. Jordan with the treb working away on the castle. Liereyy with his own, looking to push further into the south. Jordan can't take this fight, not with those chakram throwers there. He'll continue to micro him back towards the castle, gets the camels out in front. It's just such an impossible position.
I think Jordan's going to be just kind of calling it here because, you know, this fight is not one you'd normally take, and the fact that he's taking it just makes it seem like he's got very little options here. And he's under a castle. He's just desperate to hold on to this one area. He's got the trebs there, but look at, it's a massacre.
From 70 camels down to 15, that's enough for Jordan to tap out. The GG is called. Liereyy picks up game. Look at the smiles on these guys' faces.
Gotta love to see it, man.
What a showing for game number 1. Over 60 minutes in as well. Stamina is going to become a thing in this series, I think.
100%. And you know what? It's already kind of laid here in Germany as well. So, you know, the fact that this was game 1, we still have a best of 5 on our hands. It's pretty crazy. Both players, though, locked in. They're going to be, you know, they're used to this kind of stuff, you know, the long series. But what a game 1 that was. Crazy stuff. Almost an hour long on Outcrop.
Yeah. Everything about that, man, shows you where Liereyy is the best in his game, right? Again, it's the control of ranged units and his ability to keep them alive. He almost never. There was that one fight in the middle where he lost his crossbows. This was before he moved on to chakrams, right? There was that one fight where he got a little caught out there. It really wasn't disastrous, but something you'd like to avoid. And then we saw with the chakrams. I mean, it felt like he made 40 and ended the game with 27, and never made more. You know, it was it's like he lost 13 over the course of an hour-long game. Absolutely wild.
And there was like hundreds of camels running at him.
Oh my God! Oh, did we see those numbers? Did you clock the numbers of the camels built?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna kick myself for that. We'll go back in the VOD or something and look at the
amount of camels that were made.
Yeah, because the capture age most built unit will 100% be imp calves.
Oh, 100%.
And so it had to have been. 400. Somebody's claiming 469 in chat. We're going to 436, 436. Yeah. Okay, I'll take everyone who's saying 436.
I think 436.
That is an insane number of camels. Oh, my goodness.
That's insane.
All right, so game 1 goes the way of Liereyy. You've got your Gurjara's pick off the table, the Hindustani's pick off the table. It was the 4th pick Civ for both players. So in terms of their priority, we're kind of 1 for 1 in that. And obviously, Jordan gets map choice from here, and that will largely determine what civs each player goes to next.
And, you know, the fun thing is, I like to mention this as well, you just lost game 1, but it was a long game. It was a tough game. As Jordan here, what home map do you pick? Usually you'd want to go for something that's completely different to what you lost. You know, I've heard that theory come out. Or you just want to go towards the map that you're most confident on. You don't want to go down 2-0 too easily, because then, you know, it gets a little hard, you know, mentally.
I could see an argument. While it might be akin to the length of that first map, I could see an argument for Arena simply because it's the most stable map, right? Again, just you give yourself a stability in the early game, and you disallow your opponent from really affecting your choices until, you know, a certain point. So I could see an argument for that. But if you're concerned about getting locked into another hour-long plus game and exhausting yourself right there, maybe you jump for something, you know, like, well, the other 3, all 3 of the other maps, a little bit
pretty
more
similar.
open. Maybe Kawasan, just to get a lot of early action on pawns.
Yeah, and you've got like 3 hybrid maps in there, all 3 quite different as well. They all have their unique characteristics. It's going to be interesting. I mean, we'll see what Jordan goes to pick. Of course, just reminding the viewers, Jordan can pick from any home map here. You could even take Lierey's home maps, and we'll see which one he does choose in a second here.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, again, we had the earlier game. Shot from my girl. Yes! There it is. That. The real-time updates have just been on point.
Crazy stuff.
On point.
Yeah.
By the way, preferred desk height.
Ooh.
Are you like really rigid? Are you one of those people that's like it's got to be to the 10th of a centimeter, or are you? Would you know? Like if I changed the height while you were in the bathroom and came back like by a centimeter or two, do you think you would actually know?
I think I used to be really picky, but nowadays, like the more lands I play, the more I'm just like, just give me anything, you know.
Hey, that shows your experience in playing in a lot of different environments, right? But here we go into map number 2 between Jordan and Liereyy. It's going to be Golden Swamp. Liereyy in the blue, playing as the Byzantines, currently up 1-0 in the series. Jordan opting for the Lithuanians on the other side in the red.
Yeah, and just before we get started with this game, on the topic of your settings, your desk heights, Liereyy is the most adaptable. He's playing right now with my headset, my mouse, and my mouse pad.
No way.
He doesn't care.
I don't feel like you should be allowed to be a pro player at that point.
I swear, he's literally crazy. Like he doesn't care what he plays on.
No, that makes me so angry that somebody can be that good and not care about their specs or anything.
I've never seen anything like it.
Oh, my God.
Like
okay.
He's the definition of anywhere, anytime, anything, you know?
I feel like that should disqualify him outright. Love it.
Yeah.
Pretty long time since you guys saw a camel.
True.
Thank you for that. And that's a pretty adorable camel right there.
Yeah.
All right, docks out for both players. No surprise here.
Lithuanians, Byzantine here. I mean, one is the type, Lithuanians tend to up earlier, but Byzantines have the stronger military with the fire ships on the water. They also have the cheaper trash units or the cheaper counter units on land. Pretty interesting matchup, though, I gotta say.
Yep. Jordan forward, though, early with the scout to make sure he can identify where that dock is.
Yep. He does scout that. Liereyy does scout Jordan's. Yeah, so pretty mirrored approach from both players to start things off. But look at Jordan's food count. He's getting loom. He's clicking up.
He's clicking up?
18 population.
Wow.
Does he make it, though?
That's a good question.
I'm doubting a little. 17 vills is crazy. Let's see if he does make it.
160 food in those vills' hands right now, so he has it. What a perfect build order.
Crazy.
Perfect build order. Loom click, though, for Liereyy, so not far behind. Just one extra vill in order to get up to the feudal age.
Listen, I mean,
you just take... you can't just... I feel like this is a tough spot for Jordan to be in because you know you're likely going to a fire v fire matchup, and that's just losing for you.
Yeah, unless you go for galleys. Or, like... Yeah, he's not going land. I was going to say, you could go land on Golden Swamp, but he's not doing that. You could just go galleys. Or you can go with the faster uptime fires.
We saw...
Trade-off.
Was it... TaToH earlier, who went for 2 galleys first,
looped
them around to snipe, then started producing fires. Maybe that's the approach you take. You say, I kind of know I'm going to lose the fire v fire, so let me get a galley or 2 out early, loop them wide around, look to disrupt your food eco, and then later take. Yeah, nice. Going to grab those buffaloes.
Why are they there? I guess Jordan didn't find them earlier. Because they were really far from Jordan's base. But
look at that. Look at okay. So we've got an extra dock here for Liereyy, but he's spreading it out quite a bit.
Yeah, this is weird. Liereyy has to go forward.
Liereyy rather is going to go with a forward dock.
This is very strange. Jordan has the 2 docks.
If Liereyy doesn't scout it, then it plays into the idea that I'm just going to disrupt your fish eco.
Yeah.
I am sacking my total control of water because your production buildings are closer together, means it's easier for you to group them up. You already have the stronger units to boot. So, again, maybe with my slightly earlier uptime, dock's not quite finished here. Maybe Liereyy can get a snipe or 2.
Yeah, I think the forward dock from Liereyy is interesting. It's almost, Jordan's going for galleys, and Liereyy, I think he's guaranteeing the fact that he can snipe Jordan's fish with the fire galley, or at least forcing Jordan to fight him up close where the fire galley is strictly better than the galley. We'll see what Jordan can do here.
Okay, 2 galleys out and another galley in production. So this is a deviation from what we saw earlier, where it's just more investment into galleys as opposed to following up with some fire galleys.
Yep.
For Liereyy, it is 2 fire galleys. We'll see how he responds to seeing these 2 galleys forward, though. Should be easy snipes, though.
Yeah, not much you can do about that.
Yeah, for Jordan. You're just hoping to drop the food off.
Give it to me. I need that 10 food.
Yeah, heck yeah. Everything counts. Everything counts.
Buffalo's going back.
Yeah, now getting pushed back by that fire galley. Continues to drop houses in the middle. I love this, too. Just to control the space, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to make sure you have the vision just in case your opponent comes forward for a castle at some point in the game.
That's such a big deal. I love that you mentioned that, by the way, because you drop a house now, and that's going to pay off in 10, 15 minutes. You know, you have to make the houses anyway. Might as well make them in impactful locations. Love to see that. And now we're seeing like the galley versus fire galley scout getting some action as well.
No kills just yet, but it's very clear the power of these fire galleys, right? You know, 2v4, and they can kind of push them away.
The problem is once the galley number gets like too high, the galleys will absolutely dominate the fires. But the fires are really good in low numbers, so we'll see. Liereyy, like, he's getting chased down now. Like Liereyy has to make something happen within the next couple minutes on water, otherwise the galley numbers get too problematic here.
He wins that fight with good micro. Well done, Jordan.
Yeah, well done.
No fletching either on that for that fight. So. He also has he's got another 2 out on the field, 2 more in production. He's going heavy into galleys.
Yeah, he really wants to commit to galleys. Now, there's pros and cons to this, because the more you commit to galleys, listen, you're going to win water, but it might delay your castle time. The galleys can't move everywhere on the map. The water is restricted to the center only. So the galleys, you know, they have their duties, but, you know, past controlling the water, they don't do a whole lot.
All right. Clocks the villager in the middle of the map. Going to push him away from building that house. No real damage done just yet, unless Liereyy doesn't notice.
Oh.
Careful there. What?
Oh,
come on, my friend. There it is. Okay, okay. He caught it right at the last moment. Going to micro that away.
Just making sure the viewers are watching. Making sure they're paying attention, you know? Nothing crazy here.
No villagers down just yet. The only eco kills are the 2 fishing ships that Jordan was able to snipe from Liereyy, and that amounts to a 2 eco lead, as we see at the top of the scoreboard.
Yeah, a little bit of walls coming down from Jordan now as well. He's controlling the water. Nice little micro there with the galley. He's controlling the water, going to wall up the land. So very methodical play from Jordan here. Does snipe Liereyy scout as well.
Yeah, I'm honestly impressed that he's been able to take control of the water here in Feudal. It's just not that much investment from Liereyy. I guess once you lose those first 2 fishing ships, maybe you feel like you don't have that much to fight for.
Yeah, yeah. You just like, you're not going to beat the galleys long term. Not much to really play for. You just give it up. And he's buying himself a lot of time as well. The question is, how do you transition from here? Liereyy could try to like go up to Castlage. He could try to throw a land attack in Feudal. He's got a few options here, but it feels like he's opting to just wall up himself. He still has some fire galleys on the field, though. Interesting.
Yeah, he has a few, and he's going to force Jordan to have to rotate back with his military to deal with those fires that are chasing these fishing ships off. Double Bidax, honestly, doing work right now. Take a look at resources collected, right? It was just about 300 more, but all of that is from the wood count.
Ooh, Jordan skipped his double Bidax. That's very interesting. It's normal to skip Horse Collar because you're not making farms and there's fish, but skipping Bidax is questionable. I think he forgot it because I don't think he'd want to do that.
Yeah, market play now for Liereyy as well. Means he's definitely thinking about getting to the next stage, using the market to aid himself in doing so.
You know what? If he gets up to Castlage and he's got fire ships, now fire ships destroy galleys. Those are crazy.
Especially Byzantine fire ships. And look, walls are almost up for him too, and not going to be worried about the scout, too low HP in order to contest it. Idles the villager for a moment, but will complete the palisade walls on this side. Close to complete on the other side of his base, and yeah, it's going to be looking rather to get straight up to Castlage for Liereyy.
I almost feel like Jordan's a little too passive with his galleys. You should be hunting for Lierey's fires right now and just like spreading out your galleys, looking for them, because he might be trying to defend his fish. But if you just give Liereyy free leave to go Castlage, his army becomes much stronger. So I really question this from Jordan.
Yeah, both players, though, getting some work done in the market. Food bot for both, but it's quicker click for Liereyy. Jordan not too far behind, though.
Jordan hanging on to stone, by the way. Interesting decision. Listen, it gives you a smoother boom in Castlage to have that 200 stone, but you might be thinking, he could have had a slightly faster castle should he have sold that one. So, bit of a trade-off there. He does pick up double Bidax now. I don't know if he forgot it or not. Maybe he delayed it for a faster time. It's hard to say.
I don't know if he forgot it either, but I'm impressed that he got it now. Yeah, because that's the kind of thing that when you don't click it, when you hit Feudal Age, you usually don't until you hit Castle Age. And you go, oh no, What happened?
You know, it's time to pick up Bosa, and then like, double bit access there.
That is a shot to the ego right there, if ever there is one. I mean, 500 resources difference in the collection again between him and Liereyy. Does get Horsecaller as well, though, preparing himself to transition onto a farming eco because he cannot sustain with just berries and those fishing ships. Yeah,
Lierey's walling up on the land as well. It does feel like Lierey's a bit scared of the knight transition from Lithuanians. Lithuanians, of course, have amazing knights, especially when they get a couple of relics going. So I think Lierey's just playing safe from that, that angle. Staying on the water makes sense as Byzantine here.
Yeah.
Oh, Vil gets sniped though.
Ooh, okay.
Why did he want that forward Vil?
That's a good pickup. Yeah, did he lose the male villager that was in the middle? Because why would you be bringing a second one forward? No, he brought that man over there.
That's so weird. Oh, wait.
Oh, and it's going to get found by the scout.
No way.
This is a huge pickup from Jordan to snipe this villager. That could have dropped forward stable, could have dropped siege workshop.
Could have been a
monastery,
whole
any
angle.
number of things. That could have been absolutely disastrous for Jordan, and he finds it at just the right moment. Of course, while we say that, a great surround here by Liereyy onto the galleys of Jordan. These things are not long for the world, rotating a few in behind as well. So he's going to clear that up nicely and grab control back of the water.
So now Liereyy gets water control. He did lose 2 Vils, and he's got somehow another man in the center as well.
This is teleporting villagers around
Where
the
is
map.
he getting these from?
Oh, Lordy.
He really wants that monastery in the center. I don't know what that does, though.
He canceled War Galley at the last second.
Oh!
He was about to complete it. It was like 5 seconds from complete, and he realized he won water.
Without it.
And he just canceled it.
Yep.
What a heads-up play to save resources there. Jordan has already given up on water. No more production from his docks. Does click Bowsaw, so himself kind of focusing on the eco, dropping 2 TCs back at home, now up to 3. Liereyy dropping 1 of his own. So a small TC lead for Jordan. Might be able to creep ahead.
Yeah, that cancel was really clutch. I'm glad you caught that one. It saves himself 230 food. He's going to maybe use that for another town center, some investment. He could start a push. Looks like he's going for a 3rd town center in the center. Liereyy is. Jordan does have the faster TCs though, so maybe better economy. We're seeing heavy plow picked up as well for Jordan. Question is now, with Lierey's presence in the center, what is Jordan going to play for? The relics?
Double monastery, too. And he's already picking up relics. 1 already in the monastery. That's a sweet relic for Jordan.
He's got another one in the back as well.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So 2 easy pickups for the Lithuanian player. If he sees it. He does.
He does, yeah.
He does. Okay, that's good. That's going to feel fantastic as a Lithuanians player. But, yeah, you are already playing in a double monastery. So you kind of know, like, all right, my opponent has, one of the quote-unquote counters to my knights with control of the water. So even if I wanted to push through the middle, I'd have to push through those fire ships. So likely Jordan's going to have to play around the outsides of the map at the moment.
Yep. And, if you do try to, monk push down the center, Liereyy already has the monasteries. Atonement to convert, enemy monks will be on the cards for both players. Not really a good option if both players are on monks to go for that. So it's going to be a tough task for Jordan here in the next 20 or so minutes. He's got some time to reclaim that center where all the gold is.
Yeah, this is a very interesting position where Lierey's our first player to drop a TC in the middle, early in Castle Age. Everyone else has gone for a castle first to get control of the center island. And so, again, I think that's largely a result of the map state, right? With control of water. He has the permission to go out there.
Might as well.
Yeah, may as well.
Might as well get that TC in. By the way, Atonement from Liereyy, heads-up play. He knows it's going to be monk versus monk. We now see the 2nd monastery from Jordan, but Liereyy is already with Atonement. This is crazy.
And if you don't know and you take a straight-up battle and 3 of your monks, get targeted and converted, it could be the end right there.
Yep. Yeah, Jordan's picking up Atonement as well here. So
delays the monastery, forces a delete on the monastery because of conversion possibilities.
Interesting.
So further delayed. Oh, I like it. Okay, we're matching it though. We got more monk upgrades coming in for Jordan.
Yeah, it's Atonement for both players. Both going for the monk converts. Liereyy, gets caught out of position though. Might lose a monk. There's some big RNG factor in this though.
Yep, definitely. Okay, everybody gets away scot-free. No monks traded, but we're both aware that our opponent has Atonement, so we can't get caught off guard by that at this point. We are wholly responsible for how we micromanage those monks. And at this point, just checking back in with the ecos, Jordan has a slight villager lead, 63 to 57 in total eco. And that's just because he got his 3rd TC up a little bit quicker.
Yeah, there you go. That's the advantage that you get. Now, listen, transitioning towards late castle here. Jordan has enough for a castle in just a short moment. Could go for some lightest, but I don't know if that's going to be a good option into the Monk. So you might have to like play some light cap. It's going to be very interesting to see how he goes about gaining control of the map. Whereas Liereyy can easily just go for like some pikemen if he wants.
That's the thing, man. You're playing into Byzantines, and I just feel like you have so few options when they can produce pikes at the cost that they can, right? Majorly discounted pikes. And so they're happy to spam them and even lose a few just in mass. Jordan going for a defensive castle. That will give him some control of the shoreline. Doesn't get scouted either. Very close.
One tile
on that
there.
one. Yeah, for real.
Yeah, it's really tricky here. And it looks like Leary's building up towards Imperial Age. Just fortifying the center even harder. Is that a university?
The water university.
Yeah.
Leave it to Liereyy. Oh my God. I mean, I guess you could essentially like mostly wall off. You know,
just throw random buildings and just control the water.
Make it difficult for your opponent to navigate through. I guess. Yeah. It is pretty funny. It's about coming back to he's using villagers that would otherwise be idle, and that's a part of his incredible efficiency as a player.
Redemption is coming in, by the way. It's going to allow Liereyy to convert buildings and siege, by the way. So Redemption is a pretty good upgrade to come in for the Monks, and Liereyy is dangerously close to Imperial Age. Remember, Imperial Age for Byzantine is very cheap.
Yeah, much cheaper, so that'll feel good. He's got 9 monks on the field to Jordan's 5, 6 now, as one pops out of his monastery.
Whoa.
Ooh,
double house
forcing deletes because of redemption.
But you can't delete all your houses, are you?
No.
Well, I guess you are.
No, you're really deleting them all. Oh my God, he's housed!
He deleted everything!
He's housed! I've never seen a play like... He just housed the man with monks.
What? That's crazy. I don't think
and he lost the monk to atonement. And then just deletes him in his face.
This is crazy.
What? I mean, oh my God, we went from full walled, perfect safety to just I blew open one whole side of your map with monks. He's going to go for more houses.
And what do you just delete everything, I guess?
I was going to say, does Jordan have a colony of houses in the back of his base now? I mean, he's got to rebuild like 57 houses.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
he's bringing the boys and girls out to fight. Let's go.
Get the gate trap? Okay. I see the plans. I see the plays, Jordan.
Oh, he's like full building that gate, too. Okay, here we go.
No, don't open it.
Get the boxing gloves out. Oh, he got one conversion still. In all of that, he got a conversion.
So much value for those monks. On the way to Imp as well. I like how finally is in for Jordan, but it just feels like too little too late right now.
Yeah, it's a tough one. He's in a very tough spot. You've got Imp a minute and 15 seconds away from complete for Liereyy. Jordan's still well away from it in terms of food count, and he lost his market. I haven't seen whether he's put a new market up to help himself get up to Imp.
I don't think so.
Sell some wood, buy some food or something. It's not an option for him right now.
I think he's going to go for some light caps to gain back the control and then wants to play on water. But I think that's wishful thinking. Like, Lierey's already on the water. He's going to have a second castle. The faster Imp plays a huge role here. We're going to see Trebs. We're going to see fast fires.
Oh, when he goes for another relic, I mean, it's a great play as Lithuanians to try and get a little bit more punch, you know, behind your cavalry units. But he gets denied that, has to delete. You're building a market in the same place you just lost one. Luckily, he's got the light cav coming out.
Oh, it was a bait.
Finally, gonna be at it. It was. Stick around.
Yeah. Come get my second market, you know? Oh, God.
I love it. Cleans up the 2 monks, but there he sees the Imp arrival out of Liereyy. Bod King clicked. He's got 2 castles in the center of the map. That one is the second one perfectly positioned to start trebbing down Jordan's only defenses. And that also means that his docks are under threat.
I mean, this is a huge play from Liereyy here with the faster Imp. Treb's coming out quick. You've got the Navy ready. Interesting that he's going galleys. I almost feel like that's a mistake, one of those rare mistakes from a dominant position. But I think fire ships should just be better for the Byzantines, especially if you're aiming for that fast Imp.
Yeah, they can definitely be overwhelming.
Yeah.
He's got a demo waiting there as well, though, for a nice shot whenever Jordan clumps up a bit too much and trying to move out. First Treb is onto the field, already looking to pressure down that castle. Jordan's still a minute and 40 away from Imp himself, bringing in handcart. That will just match the handcart of Liereyy. So while he does have a 12-villager lead, he's 13 behind in military. He's in a tough spot.
Some raids coming in as well. Random. I don't know how he got in there, though, Jordan. But making use of the light cav. Listen, we talk about mobility all the time. Doing what he can. Light cav not going to be effective for ships, though. I wish they were. But
forcing up another dock. So he now has 5 docks to produce from as he makes it towards the Imperial Age. Fletching coming in for him as well. That'll allow that castle at the very least to protect a bit more or control a bit more space. And if he goes into galleys like he is himself, he obviously has to pick up all of those upgrades to be competitive on water.
Now, listen, what if what if Jordan ignores the center? Just completely ignores it and just goes around the sides with light cav raids, might even fortify with some siege on the outside and just nukes Lierey's actual base, because Liereyy has very little on the land right now.
I personally think that's the only option.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you. Very much akin to the first game where he brought Liereyy all the way down to 70 villagers. That's kind of, I feel like, what has to be your strategy this time around.
Give up the center. Like, give up the center, go for the Vill raids. You know, it's obviously not ideal. We want the gold in the center, but if you can't get it, and these raids are great, you know?
Yeah, these raids are fantastic, getting some nice snipes, but it's clear that he wants to invest in that center push, right? Because Bodkin chemistry and the War Galley upgrade means that he feels like the only answer is to contest on water. But I feel like you're just too far behind. Your production buildings are getting absolutely shredded by the remaining galleys and the 3 trebs that Liereyy has out. This one is all but done. All but locked up for Liereyy, barring, I think, some kind of catastrophic mistake. Those villagers, though, maybe that last-ditch effort we talked about. Jordan's starting to expand out, realizing, okay, I have to concede the center. I got to look for other options, bringing in those cavalry armor upgrades and expanding out to the wings.
Yeah, like Jordan has a lot of resources. I think the big mistake, though, is that he thought he can get back in the water. I think if he realized that it's not going to work from the start and just invested the resources he had on the side pushes, like 2 pushes on the side, there's something there.
Give me the Hera, take 20 of your lumberjacks, turn them into farmers, and boom, you're at 55 farmers.
Yeah, and that's like Hussars on both sides. We're looking at maybe a hand cannon switch, and he's doing it, but it's only after he lost the water again, and it might be too little too late.
You want it to be hitting, like, imagine if the Bodkin, the chemistry, and the War Galley clicks were bloodlines, iron casting, things like that, right? You'd already be onto another set of upgrades at this point for your cavalry, and then you really could pack a punch when you do fight into Lierey's base. At this point, it's just about preserving as much of as you can of your original eco. Oh, what it!
Look at that.
Lierey's got that sixth sense. This is brilliance out of him. He scouts the stables on the right-hand side, instantly throws a castle up.
Like, he just knows, he knows that's his win condition. He knows he's not losing the center. He's
also,
won the water.
He didn't scout with a scout.
A cataphract.
He scouted with a cataphract.
He just threw any unit into the corner, you know?
It's too good.
It'll do the trick. University going down there as well. It's going to maybe delay some of Jordan's techs later on. It can be annoying sometimes. Now, listen, Jordan can hold on to his actual base because Liereyy only has Navy right now. But the problem for Jordan is that Liereyy has full control of his base as well. He's got the middle, he's got his base, and he's got Jordan's outskirts. So
yeah, pushed off of that 4-tile gold over to the left-hand side of the screen right there. Just, again, denies options to Jordan. Does have a bombard cannon out to try and deal with these trebs, making any much more forward progress. Light cap will snipe the monk.
Cannon got converted. You hate to see it.
No.
That's just brutal. And I think Jordan might be calling it soon. There's going to be heavy camel coming in for Liereyy.
That's so brutal. It's just such a swing of resources to invest 225 wood, 225 gold, and then immediately have it handed over to your opponent.
It's the most expensive unit in the game.
It's absolutely wild. And oh my, he almost lost his other bombard cannon to that converted one. Sniped a villager instead.
Fun fact, actually, bombard cannons have 2 melee armor, so vills do 1 damage to it. It sounds like a really strange thing to talk about, but it matters. Like, Siege Ram have a lot less armor. They have even negative melee armor, so vills can do work.
They can actually take them
Bomber
down.
cannon is not the case. 2-0 to Liereyy. Great play there.
Wow. I mean, stellar play out of him. I was questioning a little bit as Byzantines conceding quote-unquote water in Feudal Age. But again, he never over-invested in fishing ships. So as soon as he lost those first 2, he said, I'm not fighting for anything anymore. The value of putting resources into fire ships right now is next to nothing. Prioritize getting to castle. At that point, with a sizable number of those fire galleys or fire ships, was able to get that surround and then make it impossible for Jordan to ever push back out through the center of the map.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, love the design of this background here. We got blue light on the left side with Liereyy. The production's crazy.
So
red
good.
For Jordan. And obviously the logo, the overlays. The production has been incredible for this NAC 4 event.
So there you have it. Your 2-0 set point already for Liereyy. Jordan having taken a loss, not just on the neutral map, but on a map pick of his own, right? Granted, he did switch it up and pace the game. That one was definitely a more active early game where we didn't have full-walled bases. Or we had full-walled bases, but because of the water, we at least had fights in Feudal Age. This is where I feel like you got to go Hippo Arena.
I think you have to.
You got to go.
Yeah, it's the map you prepared. It's the map you picked. So, listen, Jordan has to win all 3 maps here, but it's not the same winning when you're 2-0 to when you're 2-1. You know what I mean? Like, the mental aspect is there. So you pick Hippo Arena. That's the map that you want to go in with. If you win, then you tackle the next map. You take it 1 map at a time here. Jordan's still in this, but Lierey's been looking very sharp.
Yeah, we had 1 reverse sweep attempt already today. It came in set number 1. I won't tell you. I won't spoil how that one ended. But Jordan looking for a reverse sweep of his own here. Needs to put 3 together. So, if we're assuming Hippo Arena, what civs do you want to see?
So you've either got Poles, well, actually, I should say either. You've got Poles, Khmer, and Burgundians that could work.
All 3 are viable.
Yeah, all 3 are viable. And I think it comes down to comfort. Poles, just for the viewers that don't know, have been nerfed a little bit. They went from 10% farming rates with the full works to 8%. So it's a small nerf, but it's still a nerf. Burgundians got nerfed as well. Went from 40% cheaper upgrades to 33%. Khmer remained unchanged on this last patch. So, you know.
So 3 options for Jordan. On the other side, in all honesty, you have 3 options. You could technically go for Portuguese Turks or Cumans. I struggle to think of what other map Cumans would fit, whereas I think I could see more arguments for the other 2 civs on the other remaining maps if we were to get pushed there. But again, it's going to be mind games galore here because both players have many options here. And whatever you choose here, if you extend the series, it's going to be hugely impactful to the rest of the civ matchups. And that's something you got to think about.
Exactly, and especially Jordan. Jordan has to win 3 games. Liereyy could pick his best civ to try to win this map and give up the rest. But then if he loses, he gets hyper punished, you know? So there's definitely that mind game going into this draft here. And let's see what both players come up with. It's going to be...
It is Hippo Arena. Jordan diving in as the red with the poles, so that's what he's going to put his hopes and dreams on of a reverse sweep to get it done here and extend the series. For Liereyy, diving in as the blue player, it will be the Turks. So while I said it felt like Cumans was the most obvious one here, he's going to throw a little bit of a curveball, and it's going to be the Turks.
Yeah, and you know, Turks are a good arena civ, but you know, going up against poles have the better economy. However, Turks get their savings from the free upgrades. They get free chemistry, they get free light cav, they get free Hussar upgrade, and right there, it's a lot of resources you're saving, but you have to make those units. You have to use those upgrades to get the savings, whereas Poles are getting the raw food, the raw extra food.
Yeah, Turks fairly one-dimensional, right? You kind of only rather that their options are a lot of Hussar and gunpowder units, right? It's going to be Janissaries and lots of bombard cannons with, with a castle trying to kind of control fights in one area and maybe get some raiding from those Hussar. On the side of the Poles, obviously always happy to tech into Knights, get Schlocko privileges, and just flood the map. I will say that it doesn't feel like Poles have great ranged options, which is going to make, in some senses, I think those Hussar even more potent, unless you're playing into full halberdier or something.
Yeah, and the thing is, Poles don't get halbs. They get only pikemen. Yeah. But the thing is, Poles do get arbs. It's just, as you said, it's not great into,
it's already
Hussar.
Hard to play into Hussar to have +1 Pierce armor naturally, right?
Yeah. And so it's not something that you'd want to go for. And you know what? Now that you mention it, it's going to be hard to counter Hussars in general, unless you're on your own Hussars for Poles.
Which is definitely a possibility, right?
Yeah.
Always a question, too, on Arena is we saw earlier TaToH, Khmer go for early boom, then drop 3 stables into flooding the map with scouts to try and secure the remaining relics. And it's always a question of, hey, do you go castle, drop double monastery first, try and get relics, and then catch up in a boom? And that's a decision both players are going to have to make here.
Yeah, and relics are still hugely important. On regular arena, they're closer together, so it's easier to go for all the relics. Here, they're more spread out, so we are seeing that boom first into relics later. But if you go for the relics right away and you get all 5, you're going to be feeling very comfortable. So there is that trade-off as well that players will have to decide. Let's see how they go about their early game.
Yeah, Turks microed properly with that free light cav upgrade can really be a nuisance to any monks who are trying to get out there for some early relic pickups. Lumber camp being dropped for Jordan. Oh, that always feels good when you got a little pocket in the wood line there to just that's just a feels good moment there as a player. Look, we got to find things to talk about.
Of course. It's arena.
In the dark age of arena.
Not a whole lot going on. I even saw Liereyy earlier on take both hands off the keyboard to drink water. That is called optimal arena gameplay.
There we go.
But actually, this is interesting. You're taking stone as the poles.
Oh, that's where it gets you, though. Did you see that idle villager? Sorry to completely disrupt. You know, that pocket's great aesthetically, but it'll bite you if one of your vills goes idle. Yes, diving onto the stone, as you mentioned, you'll notice that while he's mining stone with 0 villagers on gold, his gold is still ticking up.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are unaware, mining stone gives small amounts of gold generation to the poles, and since he went on to stone so early, looks like maybe he's thinking he can get all the way up to castle by selling maybe just 100 stone.
Yeah, it looks like it, exactly.
Yeah.
You sell 100 stone, you get 90 gold back.
Exactly.
By mining stone, you naturally get that trickle of 10 gold in. And
then by the time you're castle, you're back to 200 stone.
Exactly, yeah.
And
for
you
the
drop
2
2 TCs.
Yeah, so pretty smart, actually, from Jordan. Not a lot of people will opt to use that, but I love that he's using the bonuses he has available as well. Meta wars continue. Polls.
6-3 on the map. 2-1 versus Turks. So specifically in this matchup, it's Poles who have come out on top more often. However, only a sample size of 3, and both civs are top 2 most played on the map. So I guess it comes as no surprise then that when your set life is on the line, you're going to go for the top tier pick. And Liereyy went the direction of, I'm going to try and stop you right here, end this in a 3-0, not give you that chance of a resurgence.
Yeah, went for his top pick as well. Both players up to feudal age at exactly the same amount of, same pop, same time. And it's going to be Market Blacksmith for Liereyy. So not opting to go for stable, and Market Blacksmith for Poles as well. So both players going to be going for the boom approach. We talked about how Jordan's going to do it by selling a little bit of stone. Lierey's classic way, mining some gold, no problems.
24 plus 2. A very easy castle age for both of these players. Lockstep. Liereyy able to grab that double bid axe upgrade and even the farming upgrade a little bit early. He put himself below 800. There we go. He garrisoned for exactly the 800.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And then clicks up to castle. He'll have that horse collar upgrade in before the farms go down. Jordan placing farms before he... Okay, no, never mind. That one won't finish. It was close.
Yeah, he finished one before, but the rest are good. He did go horse collar before double bid axe, by the way. It's a small thing, but again, we're talking about things in Arena here.
Yeah.
We need things to talk about, but, he's... losing a couple hundred, not a couple hundred, a couple dozen resources worth of wood by delaying that double bid axe.
Should be clicking at any moment. Yeah. Technically has the resources for it now. 150. There we go.
Yeah.
So he gets that click up, but exactly, I mean, Lierey's going to have, slightly larger intake of wood there. Yep. Might even put him in a position to immediately drop 2 TCs, where now I'm wondering if Jordan will have that ability.
Why is Liereyy mining so much gold? Does he want to make maybe like some... a double monastery play for the relics, or
6 on gold?
6 on gold
feels
is a
like
lot.
It has to be.
It's going to be at least 1, I'd imagine. That's a lot on gold. He's taking 1 off now, so probably just 1 monastery, I guess. Go for the relics.
Yeah, 200 gold at the moment, right? By the time he hits castle, he'll have 300 gold, so that'd be 3 monks. Yeah, probably not enough to want to go 2 monasteries, because one's going to go idle very quickly at that point.
Exactly.
And it's an over-investment of wood.
And he's been buying some wood as well, so it's going to be just the 1 maybe, and then using the rest of his gold to just buy some other res. So fair enough there.
All right. Yeah, it'll be 2 TC, 1 monastery?
Yeah, something like that, I'd imagine. And obviously, look at Jordan here, 200 stone, as we talked about, exactly
beautiful timing
when he needs them. Yep. It's something I learned today, actually. That's a nice way to do the pulse build.
It's a super cool adjustment.
Yep.
So here we go. First TC, second TC being dropped here from Liereyy. 1 on the stone, 1 on the back wood line. Jordan will match him. Both of his TCs on wood lines, 1 also touching the stone, and another his main gold.
I love the TC positions from Jordan, I have to say. He also prioritizes heavy plow over the wood upgrade.
Always the food eco.
That's a Poles thing right there. Gotta love to see it.
Yeah, don't do that if you're playing other civs, viewers at home. But as the Poles, especially in a boomy setup, you have absolute permission to do that as long as you're placing them around full works.
Yeah.
Because that's where the real value comes in. A percentage of that being picked up immediately upon completion of the farm.
Yeah, it's funny actually, when Poles were first released, all the pros were playing it. A lot of pros were not making that many full work farms. They'd make a few farms around, the initial mill, but that's it. These days, though, Poles have been figured out. Every single farm will be around a full work if we can. That's just how it is. The bonus is that crazy. As you can see, a second full work being dropped before even the wood upgrade. He wants full work farms. That's what the Civ is all about.
The real skill of Poles is full work placement.
Yep,
it's
100%.
It is actually like being a city planner.
Yeah.
You're playing a different game than everybody else.
It's a lot lot harder than it looks.
It is, man. Once you start dropping houses, you're like, oh no, I ate up space. There's not 3 tiles there anymore. I just screwed myself. But Jordan, so far, perfect in his full work placement. Both players still scouting around the map, making sure their opponents aren't picking up any relics. But Jordan having to run away from the fight against the auto-upgraded light cav of Liereyy.
I don't know if you know this, but the light cav is actually, I don't know how much, but a tad slower than the scout.
Yeah, it's 0.05.
Oh, okay. Damn, that's
so it's
okay.
1.55 for a scout, and it's 1.50 for a light.
Yeah, impressive knowledge there. Respect that.
I just looked at Capture H.
Oh, okay. I forgot you can do that. I was like, yo, this guy's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well played.
I outed myself there, but I couldn't get away with that one.
No, I love it.
That would put me like Nili level.
Yeah,
of, random knowledge.
That was super impressive. But yeah, it is interesting because that just means that the scout can run away, and it's one of those things that once you know about it.
Weird. Is it just because I have slightly more armor that it weighs me down? What's the logical reason for that?
I have no idea.
A shield on my back now, or whatever the heck that is, so now I'm slower?
I guess, but I don't know.
My poor horse is carrying 10 extra pounds?
Yeah, something like that. It might just be like the extra 2 attack.
Yeah.
You got to pack it somewhere.
Wheelbarrow coming in for Liereyy. Got to make sure that his farming eco is nice and clean.
Yeah.
Small scout engagement. Neither player dropping a monastery yet, though.
Yeah, interesting.
So completely ignoring the presence of the relics and prioritizing boots. And Jordan going to a 4th town center.
Interesting stuff. I mean, it's going to be just, boom to Imperial Age for both players. The question is, though, what does Liereyy go for in terms of an early imp push? Because that's where the Turks are the strongest, actually. So there's a chance, especially now that he's on stone, that he might actually look for a forward castle.
Yeah, 5 vills on stone. This is where I would expect him to stay on 3 TCs because I think you're exactly right.
Yeah.
His imp timing is more important. So you want to get a minute or 2 quicker to imp than Jordan will be. Give yourself the opportunity to come forward with a castle and pin your opponent in. Again, control the area of where the fight's happening.
Exactly.
If you let the map expand and all of a sudden you've got Schlackle privileged knights all over the map, then I don't think you have a shot.
Yeah, you can't deal with the Poles' mobility and like how cheap their units are with their good economy behind it. 100% agree. I think if Lierey's going to have a chance in this late game, it's going to be, as you said, restricting where Jordan can fight him and forcing Jordan to fight him where Lierey's comfortable here. We now see the monastery from Poles, so from Jordan here. Maybe snags a couple relics, who knows, but it's definitely not part of his main game plan here.
Absolutely. Slight food villager count lead for Liereyy, also bringing in handcart. Wouldn't be surprised as we see the university going down that he will click up very, very soon, as that's his 2nd building needed to do so.
I hate to nitpick, but I hate the university. You get chemistry for free. You go for the siege workshop if you're Turks.
That's a really good point.
Am I missing something? Like, maybe you want murder holes or something long term, but I think the fast bomber cannon is better.
Yeah. Do they get siege engineer?
No, they don't.
Because they have artillery, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that makes it even, I agree, even worse at that point, because that's 2 techs that you would traditionally want in any other civ and don't need to get as the Turks. So I think a siege workshop absolutely would have been the play, especially when you're currently scouting and you know that Jordan hasn't moved out with multiple scouts of his own to deny you that siege workshop placement.
Yeah, exactly. You could have went with a siege workshop in the middle of the map. Could have just made it at home, brought forward the cannon. But either way, just a small thing. Liereyy does pick up Jordan's scouts eventually. 20 minutes for, I think, the first kill of the game, by the way.
Yep, 1-0. Liereyy with the infinite KD lead at this point.
Barracks getting dropped at home.
Just short on a little bit of gold here before he can click up. Needs 100 more.
I think you should market that. We need the fast click.
Yeah.
A little stingy on the stone. Doesn't want to sell that, I guess. But
there it is. The click immediate, though, when he hits the resources. Did also manage to bring 1 relic in. So with that monastery created, 1 relic already brought in. Jordan hasn't brought any monks out onto the map just yet. And part of that is because he lost that Scout be Light Cav engagement. It doesn't matter how much health your Light Cav has. It can still kill a monk.
Yeah, exactly. And so the thing is here, both players up to Imperial Age. I think it's probably going to be camel play from Liereyy. Otherwise, you're going to go for a stable. Maybe a couple Light Cav, but probably just camels here. And for Jordan, he's taken into Light Cav, and he's got a few options with the Poles. They've got a really broad late-game tech tree.
Yep. Yeah, he dropped plenty of stables at home. Liereyy dropping a stable of his own, bringing, what is that, 10 villagers out into the middle of the map. If that's not, I'm dropping a forward castle soon, I don't know what is. Yeah. He already has the stone for it. So I think he just needs to make sure that he has enough military to stave off anything that Jordan's built behind his walls in the meantime, right? Because you have to respect your opponent enough to assume that he's built something. He has built exactly that, a few light cav. And so unprotected, those light cav would be able to stop the castle. But with 2 camels out on the map, they're going to get pushed away, no problem. Your only real threat at this point is monks.
Yep. And you know what was protecting those villagers? It wasn't the 2 camels. It was Liereyy scouting with a light cav. Liereyy was scouting Jordan's walls. He was seeing how much military Jordan has. And this is something that goes unnoticed. But I was checking out the minimap. Great play from Liereyy there. Like, just, he knows what's coming.
Yeah, awareness can be as effective as just randomly having units.
Exactly. Yeah.
So here it goes, castle going down. Jordan's looking to delay it, but he's just going to chuck away a few light cav to make that happen, it looks like. I'm not sure how I feel about this. That's a lot of food down the drain. Yeah,
especially early on when you're trying to mass up. Definitely a little questionable there. Texting a pikeman. Listen, you don't get helps.
Wow.
Are pikemen enough to do the trick here?
I mean, they're definitely not enough as a single unit, right?
Yeah,
and that's a criticism we had for Jordan earlier in the series. I much prefer this castle placement, though.
Yeah.
Earlier today, we had Yo versus Nicov, and Nicov opted to put a castle much further forward to protect more of the front of his base, and Jordan is taking the safer approach this time around and dropping a castle a little bit further back.
Yeah, you don't want your castle to get trebbed down earlier because your castle gets your conscription, it gets your own trebs. So if that's at the front, it goes down, and then, okay, then what? So yeah, safer position on the castle. And Jordan snuck some vills out to the bottom.
Oh, he did. Another TC being dropped. So this is what we talked about. Like, Turks, they want the fight to happen right here.
Exactly.
And only here. And Jordan has the, the heads-up play in the moment to bring some villagers out and make sure that he at least has some options on the southern side of the map. But first treb onto the field will be Lierey's, and he'll start pressuring all of these production buildings that have been built at the front of Jordan's base.
I think it's going to be Cavalier, which allows for privileges, plus Pikeman. So it's going to be a mix of those 2 units. Now, there is some pros and cons to double melee comp. Like, the pro is that you just patrol and you look away, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But the cons,
just patrol it.
Let them go. But the cons is that sometimes they bump on each other. Sometimes the enemy's in a choke point, and you can't quite surround him. So we'll see how this composition is looking like.
Ooh, double blacksmith. I actually love this play out of Jordan. Double blacksmith, so we can get 2 upgrades at a time. And another advantage to double melee is that your attack upgrade affects both.
True.
Right? So he's essentially buffing 2 units with that forging upgrade, and only the cavalry when it comes to the armor upgrade at the moment. But Cavalier 20 seconds away from finishing first armor upgrade, first attack upgrade, 5 and 10 seconds away respectively. Conscription coming in now. Again, just looking for that flood. He's going to look to overwhelm with numbers. Not going to worry so much about the micro. He's going to say, Liereyy, you deal with the micro. You deal with dealing with, my flood. And I'm just going to hope that my resources and my queue is enough to overwhelm you.
100%. And, at this point, Lierey's actually walling him in, or trying to. I mean, Jordan is on the outside. We know this, but Lierey's...
Hey, you did this earlier.
Oh, yeah, I did.
That was such a... When I saw, did you see it? I don't know if you know, they replayed your POV when you dropped.
Oh, okay. Dropping the walls? Yeah.
They made the full map stone wall.
I felt so good doing that as well. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to get raided. This feels good.
Well, once again, though, this just shows Lierey's awareness of how he loses the game.
Yeah.
Right? It's by giving Jordan avenues of outs. And so right there, funneling everything towards the castle on the northern side. At this point, Jordan's only option is the southern side of the map, and this is where I'm putting my military pressure.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's really, really well done. And the thing is, Jordan's aware that he's on a timer now. He knows if he doesn't leave his base the next 2-3 minutes, he's going to lose. But he doesn't want to fight now, because now it's a losing battle. Jordan's going to mass up, he's going to take his time, and when the time is right, he's going to go all out and look for the fight.
Yeah, continues with the upgrades. Yeah. A second armor upgrade for both his infantry and his cavalry. My one real remaining question is Liereyy aware of that southern section of Jordan's base? He has not... Oh, he saw farms.
Did he see it, though?
Oh, is that the spectator bug?
No, I mean, I'm not sure. Like, maybe he scouted it. I don't think so. I think it probably is the bug. Because I think if he sees that, like if he knows the farmers are there, he goes there right away.
Right.
So whether he scouted it by accident
or not.
That
could be a saving grace for Jordan.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%. That means he's going to have stone and golden come from outside his base. And it's going to be
possibly
undisturbed.
Production, right? If you've got 3 or 4 stables there, when you take the fight on the front with cavalry, you've got another 10 cap that come in from the back, snipe the bombard, snipe the, or even just, you know, sandwich the Janissaries. So we'll see if it's enough. Jordan looking for the fight now. He brings out all the Cavalier. It's Camels, though, on the side of Liereyy.
Run back.
Don't want to fight into that counter. He has to loop the pikes around to try and get them in front. Janissaries, though, going to do work against that unit as well. Taking the fight straight up now, looking to loop those cavalry around. Will he find the angle? Liereyy doing a fantastic job of positioning his camels out in front, going to absorb all of that pressure, and the cavalry just melts.
Oh my god, it's brutality. The camels melting the cav.
70 to 10, KD. 70 to 10.
That is
He is 7x, and Jordan taps out.
Wow.
It's a 3-0 victory for Liereyy.
Wow. Absolute domination there in that last fight. Really, really well played from Liereyy. He is even taking to fortified wall, so he's going to win the fight and fully wall in Jordan.
What a masterclass.
Beautiful.
What a masterclass in Age of Empires that we just saw, friends. Beautiful play out of Liereyy.
Crazy
Beautiful play. Gets the 3-0. A beautiful shutout.
And the thing is, as we're back on the camera, hello everyone. Hope you guys are enjoying the series.
We're catching our breath.
Yeah, that was, dude, it's more intense sometimes to cast than to play. Like, these series have just been so crazy. And yeah, I mean, 3-0 from Liereyy wasn't that one-sided. Like, I felt like Jordan put up a good fight.
No, again, they go back to that first game, man. That, in my opinion, was Jordan's game. Right? Like, we talked about just one tech switch may have been enough for you to overcome. Brought him down to 70 vills. Jordan was nearly pop-capped at 200 when Liereyy had 70 vills, and unfortunately wasn't able to get through that final punch, deal that killing blow, and the chakram micro was just absolutely nuts.
I love the chakram play. I think, you know, in this series, we saw like the fortified wall in with the Turks. We saw the chakram thrower in game 1. We saw Byzantines come up. We saw a lot of different things from Liereyy. He's showing us that he's flexible. You know, he's known for his micro, but he can micro everything, you know?
Yeah, second two maps were definitely closer. Definitely closer. Jordan had opportunities in both, but yeah, reality is Liereyy called the shots, man. He kind of knew what was coming, built the perfect counters. Again, understood. The best way I can say it is he understood how he could lose, and that's what he protected against. It's less about thinking, like, what do I do to win? And I know that's a weird way to just, like, change the framing of it, because it's basically saying the same thing, but he's thinking more about what's my opponent's only way back in. Let me stop that from happening. Yeah,
exactly. And, you know, he did that beautifully in pretty much every single game, cut off Jordan's avenue to success here. And, yeah, what a day of games it's been. I think we're going to hop into the winner interview soon with Liereyy.
You want to join me?
Oh, am I able to?
We can double interview.
I'm down. Yeah, I have a few questions.
We'll just grab 2 microphones. We'll head over. Camera can swing. We'll go talk to our 5th and final victor of the day, Liereyy. Liereyy, my dude. 3-0.
Indeed.
That first game, though.
Was an annoying one. Oh, I'm in the middle.
Annoying is one word for it. Do you remember how low you were brought down in Vill count midway through the game?
I imagine like 60, 50.
Yeah, about. You're just under 70. Yeah, you fell under 70 at one point. I think in total you were at like 120 pop, while Jordan was up near pop cap, and you brought it back. What about that game and that game state made you feel like you had reason to stay in it?
Well, you know, the score. I like my score.
Okay.
I was 2K score ahead. I know that doesn't mean anything, but, you know, I still like my score being up 2K.
Yeah.
Means I'm doing something right, meaning I killed enough units, and I knew that, you know, eventually he's doing more gold units than I am. He's trading his camel gold units for my villagers. So eventually I'm just going to put more castles down and, you know, win the game in another hour.
It was a long one. The longest Outcrop game we've had so far, but you pulled it through. That one felt like the closest of the games, and then kind of successively got more dominant, right? It still was a good fight in that second map of Golden Swamp. You completely conceded water after your 2 fishing ships went down. Was it really just that? Hey, I lost my fishing ships. I don't really have a reason to fight animoore?
Yeah, I thought he was doing something similar because he upped like 2 minutes earlier and I didn't see anything else. And then when he was just going for my fishing ships, I was like, okay. Fish is trash on that map anyway, so.
Were you surprised by the galley approach from him?
Not really. I've seen it before, you know, TaToH played it, I believe, and I knew it was an option. So also who fights Byzantines War Galley against War Galley, so.
Yeah. Going back to that first game, though, we are seeing this engagement here. You were down 2 vills before this happened, by the way. Were you happy to, like, break into his base and just sit on his farms all game? It must have felt like a good feeling.
Yeah, I felt like I needed something because, like, I was down 2 villagers instantly.
Yeah.
So that wasn't planned, but you know, I had a better army throughout the whole mid game, so I knew it was possible, and it was easier to play for me than for him as well.
Yeah, that was a huge play, getting into his base. Also managed to pull that army out of the base. We were kind of saying most players would accept that army will die eventually and stick around.
Anyway.
It did.
Stupid fashion.
It did die here. We gave you a little bit of flack for that play.
Fair.
Again, the holds here, your ability to quick wall here, drop the palisade, save your villagers, and get this castle up. And then, more than anything, Chakram micro.
I'm starting to like those units.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about how they're nerfed, and it looks like you're making a singular case for them coming back. At times, 10 of these imp camels go down in single volleys from Chakram throwers.
And they fire so fast. Like, it felt like if Jordan doesn't get the perfect surround, you just thin a couple units, and then you're getting the perfect shots, like one after the next.
And it's like so hard to fight against them as well, right? Because we both have like 70 units, so he can always has to.
I don't think many players can say they won a game against over 400 Imperial camels. Because that's about how many Jordan made.
I'll take it.
In this game. And a lot of it came down to this. Again, at this point, you guys are lockstep when it comes to villagers. But this was such a crazy game. Just push and pull all over the map. At some point, you had to transition to the bottom side of the map.
How much gold did you have left? Because I was out of everything.
You were both out of. You both were strapped for gold.
Okay. So it was only that gold
but you had so much food in the bank. At one point, you had 4K food in the bank. You sold a bunch for 14 gold apiece or whatever.
I sold everything.
But I think for me, it just always comes back to like this number of chakrams, and you very rarely lost any. So while you were short on gold near the end, you still had the value of those gold units. And with a singular tech option out of Jordan, it just didn't feel like. Also, murder holes. Yeah. That is a big tech. You killed a lot of camels.
I had to go to university, and I was like, okay, which one is murder holes? I've never done that in my life. I remember the cost of it, but I wasn't sure. Like, okay, this looks familiar.
Yeah. Meanwhile, every player at my elo is like, we know where that one is. Quite obvious.
That's a staple.
Yeah, that's a staple.
Get
my
the
basics, actually.
Yeah, you pick up murder holes and then start playing. You know. But yeah, murder holes came in clutch a couple of times. You know, we were talking about the raids in the mid game though. I think it might have been worth it for you to full wall or like re-full wall. What do you think about that like in the mid game when the walls were broken?
Yeah, I think I had so many holes. Like I had all my wood choppers on my main island. And it's so annoying to wall that. It's like it's just meant to happen that you have holes and units come in. So I thought
this is the final fight here. He went from 70 imp camels down to 13 on the field in that engagement alone.
Yeah.
I can see that
it was
again.
436 camels created for him total. Moving on to Golden Swamp here though. This is right after the water was won for you. You go redemption. Were you surprised he deleted everything here?
I was happy. I was like, okay, next one.
Him with
he
gets housed right there. 92 out of 90. And the market.
Not even close, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of knew I would do some damage with the redemption monks, but not that much.
Yeah.
It was like an overreaction, but I guess he didn't want to give me the pop space.
Yeah.
Ended up being a huge play from there. This one felt like you just controlled the center island, 2 castles, pushed through. And Jordan didn't expand out to the sides quick enough. Here, as Turks, into pulls. I mean, talk us through your approach here, because you come forward, castle, siege workshop. What are you thinking is Jordan's way back into it? Like, what are you looking out for?
I guess he doesn't expand. Like in the bottom?
Right, like that. We were wondering if you had seen that or not, because
I kind of thought about it, but like I was like, okay, it's just gonna be one fight, so who cares if he has the bottom or if there is something.
Yeah.
So I've just thought if I win the fight in the middle, then the game is over anyway, because I'm literally at his door knocking, and obviously his farms are all exposed. So
yeah, camels in the cavalier and the janissaries behind.
Do you think there's any composition he can go for to stop camel and Cavalier and Cannoneer?
Those are really my strats, man.
The full strat.
I'm not going to give you the counter to what I'm playing right now. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Probably the old book or something, or more pikes, something in those lines, I imagine.
Yeah, something to tank the camels a little bit more. Well, listen, well done. I don't know if Dash has any last questions.
I don't know how many more questions I have, man. It was a 3-0, so I'm sure you're feeling confident. We looked at stats earlier. While you've had incredible finishes at all the NACs, that #1 spot has eluded you.
Thank you for reminding.
I'm sure, of course, I gotta, after a series like that, I gotta get your ego in check. But I imagine that, of course, is the goal this time around. My question is where your confidence level is, considering the incredible level of talent the 10 players at this event have?
I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I'm getting used to the setup slowly and slowly. I'm feeling pretty good about it, and it's just gonna get better.
Getting used to Hera's setup?
True, actually.
As I learned, not you're getting used to his setup.
I have his mouse pad, his mouse, his headset, so I'm gonna take his keyboard as well.
Did you not bring any of that? Are you not a pro gamer?
You know, my stuff isn't that.
Liereyy barely owns anything.
I cannot believe you're playing on somebody else's equipment. That is wild.
I still have my wire mouse here, but I'm starting to get used to the wireless mouse, you know?
Oh my God.
But I'm gonna go shopping tomorrow.
I mean, I guess if you win the tournament on his stuff, he's just gonna go purchase all your stuff.
Wait till I play him. I'm like, oh, Liereyy, you can't.
Oh yeah, what are you gonna do there when you guys meet in the finals?
Who else is there? Who else is good stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
You take 1 year of the
start
headset.
making friends with other people. See whose stuff you
I hope you have free mice as well, Dash. What about that, actually?
yeah. I'll see what I can do for you guys. Cool. Well, Nili, as you're looping behind, what's the next thing?
We will discuss matchups for tomorrow.
Hey, everybody, we're going to discuss matchups for tomorrow. Who's going to do that?
Whoever wants to.
I mean, I'm happy to.
Okay.
I would like somebody else to discuss it with me.
Excuse Liereyy and Hera.
Yeah.
Once again, congratulations. An incredible
Thank you.
victory. Best of luck in both of your sets tomorrow. Get some rest.
Thank you.